G'day, Ellyse. Quick one for you. I know you would never, ever take playing for Australia for granted, but when you haven't played for 12 months for your country, is it a little bit more exciting? I mean, what are you feeling? I think people wouldn't realise that you haven't played for 12 months.
Yeah, no, I'm especially excited. I think we all are in a lot of respects because yeah, I mean I haven't played for 12 months, but the girls really have only played once in that 12 months as well, with the series against New Zealand in Brisbane last September. So they are very much few and far between matches at international level at the moment. So no, very much so. I don't think we're taking any of it for granted. It's such a limited opportunity to be together, and I think too, you know, because of how much is currently going into tours in regards to logistics and you know, just the opportunity to travel overseas and you know, play cricket is something that we're very, very fortunate to be doing in the current climate. So yeah, it's a really exciting prospect, that's for sure.
What about physically as well? I mean, because normally, you know, in a normal season, you would play heaps of cricket, but it is being spaced out. I mean, and you obviously had that long recovery from injury from your hamstring as well. I mean, physically, you must be feeling in good shape, I can only imagine. Or
yeah, I am actually. I think looking around, everyone's in really good shape. Probably twofold. You're right, we haven't played a huge amount of cricket, but we've trained quite a lot. So everyone looks in really good nick. So I think even just this 2 weeks of preparation whilst we've been in quarantine, from a purely cricket point of view, has been absolutely brilliant because yeah, it's probably all we've been able to do is to train. So I think it's been nice prep from that point of view.
And just finally, just on that though, is there some trepidation? You do so much training, and then you've got to take you into a game. Is it, you know, you're worried about how it might all go? Obviously, you haven't played against any opposition for quite some time. It's just batting and bowling to yourself. So is there a little bit of nervousness?
Yeah, I suppose like probably twofold. We're sort of really fortunate to have the women's national domestic competition that we've all been playing in pretty regularly over the last couple of months leading into this trip. But some of the mail we got from the men's team was certainly when they came over here, just adjusting to the pace of you know, a match again after being in quarantine for 2 weeks and just training was probably the biggest shock for them. So I think certainly for us, like we're out of quarantine on Saturday and playing Sunday night. So I think there's something to be aware of in that little piece of just making sure that stepping up from training into competition again, you know, we're not sort of on our heels from the get-go, I suppose.
Good on you. Thanks, Ellyse.
Sure.
Thanks, Russ. Britt, over to you.
Hi, Lee. So obviously we're really excited to see the Australian team back in action, but are you disappointed that you can't be part of the Women's National Cricket League final given Victoria's in such a good position this year?
Oh yeah, I think for both the Victorian and Queensland girls in the Australian squad, be a little bit bummed to be missing out on that match because of the scheduling clash, but I think too equally excited for the girls that are playing in that game. I know from a Victorian perspective, you know, we've trained with that squad for the best part of 12 months and done a lot of training and not much playing. So it's really exciting that they've got the opportunity to play in a final after, I guess, so much hard work and, you know, not too much reward in terms of being able to play lots of matches over the last year, that they've got an opportunity in the final. And it's great that we can watch it from over here, and I think as a Victorian group we'll certainly get together and cheer on the girls against a couple of the Queenslanders in our squad as well. So it's a shame. I think it would have been really nice to have been able to play the whole season, but it's also very hard to complain when there's an opportunity to play international cricket as well.
Yeah, and Cricket Victoria obviously made a request to Cricket Australia to try and push that final back so that they could have a full strength squad with you all involved. Were you disappointed that wasn't improved from your end?
No, not disappointed. Look, I think in the current climate, you've got to make the most of opportunities to play cricket. And, you know, I think the fact that there's a match and a final going ahead this weekend was probably the most important thing that game gets played, because you just don't know what's going to happen at the moment. And, certainly even throughout the WNCL season, there was a lot of disruptions and changes to schedules. So I think everyone's very much, recognises the need for that to have been played over the weekend. But I think it was also equally really worth a shot asking that question, because, I think domestic cricket means a lot to all of us who are involved, and certainly to the state associations. It's such an important piece of the puzzle for both men and women's cricket, and the depth of, our talent across the whole system. So from that point of view, I totally understand why there was a request put into, but it just wasn't meant to be, unfortunately.
Were the players involved in that discussion before the request was made, or did Cricket Victoria just do that without consulting players?
No, I think we're aware of it. I mean, as I said, we're very much invested in our domestic programs. It's where everyone in this squad has trained for the last 12 months. So we've got a great relationship with our state associations and also the other squad members. So absolutely, we would have loved an opportunity to be involved in the final, having played 6 games of the regular round matches out of 8. But as I said, it just wasn't feasible. And, there's a trade-off there, which is representing, Australia, which is, a pretty amazing trade-off.
Absolutely. Good luck over there.
Thank you.
Thanks, Britt. We'll head to Andrew McGlashan.
Thanks, Lucy. Hi, Ellyse. Matthew mentioned a couple of weeks ago that you had perhaps an issue or two with your run-up during the WNCL. Are you able to say whether that's right, and what you looked to work on and how you overcame that?
I think just throughout, I suppose, my rehab process, I sort of saw that as a really great opportunity as well, to work on a few different things. And one of those things was just, improving the efficiency or the effectiveness of my run up to give me a little bit more balance and power at the crease. And that was sort of a bit of a work in progress, and certainly bringing that into the first round of actual competition matches at the start of the WNCL. I didn't expect it to go smoothly. So this first couple of games against New South Wales probably wasn't perfect or certainly ideal with my run up, but since then it's been really great because I've been able to iron that out, and it feels fine now, and it's actually, I think, improved, I suppose, from 12 months ago before I got injured, which is it was a really nice opportunity, as I said, to work on that.
The other aspect of your game that gained a bit of sort of people speaking about during the WBBL was the batting strike rate. The runs still came at a good volume, but I think you were striking it under 100. Just on a broader point, are you, even someone of your experience and longevity in the game, are you constantly feeling the need now to make sure you don't fall behind or keep up with the way the game's evolving? You see the young players coming in, what they're able to achieve. You've seen the volumes of runs in the WNCL recently. Are you constantly feeling the need to keep up?
No, not the need to keep up, but I think that's always the challenge. And the best part of being involved in sport is, the constant need to continue to, improve and evolve as a player. And, I think that's the exciting part of the sport. And so it's no different, for any player. It's obviously, at different points in your career, there's different challenges and ways to go about things. But I think, from a bit of a broader picture, it's probably taken me, the best part of 12 months to feel like I'm, back to full playing fitness and performance levels in terms of, just recovering from my hamstring and just not playing a lot of cricket. So, no, by no means, I don't think was I close to where I was before I got injured during the WBBL, and it's probably still a bit of a work in progress. But at the end of the day, it's kind of been a really nice opportunity, as I said, to kind of work on various aspects of my game, and certainly taking different things forward, including the way that I bat and bowl, and just kind of see how it works out, I guess.
Just finally for me, you've got a couple of fast bowlers in your squad who have no doubt been looking to impress in the training you guys have been doing. What has training and net sessions been like against Tyler and Darcy Brown and the like?
Yeah, they've been awesome. I think Taylor in particular, given the run that she's sort of had with injury in the last little bit, she's been absolutely ecstatic to be back around the group, and I think that very much reflects in the way that she runs in and bowls. She sort of does everything at an incredible intensity, and has been bowling really quick, which has been great. And then Darcy, who's new to the squad and just like a ball of energy and great fun to have around. Is certainly going to be a really key member of Australian cricket for a long period of time going forward. So it's been awesome to face those girls. It's been I think it's a sign of just how much the game's evolving, particularly in Australia, and I think they're going to make it really exciting to watch our team play too.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, Andrew. Ben.
G'day, Ellyse. Can I ask, what have you got in the background there? Is that an exercise bike? Are you doing extras on the side?
1 second. I'm just going to shut that up. Sorry. It is. I should have rearranged my furniture before jumping on this call, but we've all got exercise bikes in our room and a little bit of space to move out and do a few different things around, a bit of exercise and stuff.
Yeah, sure. No, just checking in. You mentioned before about getting some hints from the Aussie men who obviously just toured New Zealand, coming out of quarantine, how they were a bit caught by the pace down in Christchurch in their first game. How does that information actually come through? Is that just an informal thing, you text players, or is there a proper sit-down handover? How did you find out about that?
I think it was just communication between both staff groups, actually. I'm not exactly sure the lines or the formalities around it, but they sort of work in the same office and talk to each other quite a lot, so I think it came
sure. And what else did they say?
I don't know. I only really know that piece of information, to be fair.
No worries. Did you get any info or get the opposition research from the England series? Because obviously New Zealand were pretty disappointing, and Sophie Devine had a series to forget. She's a bit out of form, obviously she's a class player still. What did you take from that series?
That we're going to have to be really aware of Sophie Devine in this series, I think, because such is the class and ability of Soph that I've got no doubt that if she's had a bit of a lean series against England, it's probably not going to repeat itself against us. So it's a great challenge for us, and I think I didn't watch that series really closely, but we certainly got a lot of footage and been able to review a fair bit of what happened in that series and a couple of their New Zealand's new players as well, and just like getting an understanding of what they do. So it was pretty handy actually for us that tour went ahead before ours.
Thanks very much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ben. We've probably got time for one more, guys, before Ellyse has to jump off. So Andrew, we'll head to you next.
Thanks. Hi, Ellyse. World Cup here, a year from now. What do you think the keys are going to be to New Zealand pulling off a real fantastic experience like you guys had, obviously, on your side of the Tasman last year?
I think a great advantage in terms of just the typical Kiwi hospitality. I'd certainly love touring here, and it's a wonderful country. So I think it's pretty appealing for teams to come and play here, but also fans to come and watch too. I think we learn a lot from that World Cup in terms of how to hold events, particularly for women's sport. And I think it was a really nuanced approach to that World Cup. It really stood out to me that there's a lot of time and effort and investment put into really making its own unique event, which appealed specifically to, I guess, the women's game and distinct from, I guess, any other World Cup. So, I think that the game as well is in such a great spot and is incredibly healthy, and there's a lot of opportunity to capitalize on the progress that we've made. So this World Cup coming up in New Zealand is placed in a really good time, and I think everyone's very much excited about what it can achieve as well.
And just secondly, what do you make of the state of the Trans-Tasman rivalry? I believe New Zealand did get up the last time the two teams met, but before that it was 16 losses in a row across two formats. Do you feel it's still got a bit of buzz, a bit of spice about it?
Anytime you take the field against New Zealand, regardless of the context, it just feels like a super challenge. There's obviously incredible history between our two teams, but our two countries as well in terms of the rivalry that we have from a sporting perspective. And I just think, such as the Kiwi way, that you're always incredible competition and fighters. And I've experienced that over my career in terms of the amount of close series that we've had. And even if you are successful in a match, it never feels like an easy win. They're incredibly hard fought. So I don't think that'll ever change.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew. And sorry, guys, we'll have to wrap it up there. But thanks for joining us. Thanks for your time, Ellyse, and we'll chat to you all soon.
Cheers, everyone.
Thanks, guys.